We welcome you to another live edition of the Sports Box, brought to you by our sponsor, Showcase Sports in Hamilton. Showcase Sports for the elite athlete. And by our friends over at CrowdPlay. Download the free CrowdPlay app today and check them out at www.crowdplayapp.com for details. Ladies and gentlemen, it's showtime.
Hey everybody, welcome to Cage My IQ. As always, I'm your host, D-Bake. Today we will be recapping Bellator 261, which was headlined by Timothy Johnson going up against Valentin Moldavsky in an interim championship fight for the heavyweight championship. As you know, Ryan Bader, the heavyweight champion, is in the midst and middle of the Grand Prix for the light heavyweight tournament. He'll be going up against Corey Anderson sometime next month. So for right now, they wanted to crown an interim championship. So that is your headliner tonight for this one. But as always, this is Cage My IQ, the best place for MMA content. You can follow us on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, and Twitch at the handles to the left. Don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel. We pump out preview and recap videos all the time, as well as interviews. So if MMA is your thing, Cage My IQ is the place to go. Just go to the handle to the left, subscribe to the YouTube channel, and let us know what you think of our videos and give us comments. But let's get started with the first fight on the card, which was a light heavyweight matchup between Christian Edwards, who went up against Simon Biyong, and Christian Edwards won by a unanimous decision. This was a fun fight to watch because, as you know, Christian Edwards is a John Jones protege. He trains out of Jackson Wink, and he's only had a couple of fights in the promotion right now, so they've been working with him a little by little, moving up to develop him because they think he's one of the futures of the Bellator. But he was originally supposed to fight Parrish, but that fight got scrapped. And then Simon Biyong, his fight got scrapped, so they paired the two together. And this made for a good fight altogether. If you look at this, if you look at the stats right here of both guys, Edwards had 92 total strikes. He had 63 punches, 5 elbows, 14 kicks, 10 knees, 3 takedowns, and 0 submissions, whereas Simon Biyong had 58 total strikes, 47 punches, 0 elbows, 9 kicks, 2 knees, 2 takedowns, and 0 submissions. As you see here, of course, Edwards basically led majority of the stats. He put in the work. He had one more takedown. It basically, like, he did enough in each round just to take each round, and then overall he did enough to win basically all the rounds that he needed. I personally had it 2-1, but some people could have had it 3-0. But he was just too much. Had Simon put in a little bit more production, he would have made this more of a fight. But Christian was able to take each category and made it his own, and that's why he came out victorious. And he kept his record unblemished in Bellator and moved on. But Christian Edwards won this by unanimous decision victory over Simon Biyong. And the next matchup that we had on here, we had a matchup which showed Daniel Weickel pick up a split decision victory over Keoni Diggs. This was a really fun fight because both guys were coming at each other all 3 rounds. There was little to no breathing room in this action. Whenever Weickel would throw a kick or a strike and followed up by another, you would get Keoni Diggs, who would come with his right hook. The problem with the Diggs in this fight, though, was he relied too much on his right hooks that are coming in all the time, whereas Weichel was coming in. He would come in with the kick, but then he would also come in with a shot a shot, a jab, and then a kick. So he was mixing in more of his combinations in, whereas Diggs was just coming in with his boxing. And at the end of the day, you got to put in more volume if you're not going to knock the guy out to steal these rounds. And that's basically what Weickel did. He was stealing rounds with more volume. And then instead of relying on one thing, he was getting him with the combination of the kicks and the jabs, the kicks and the blows. Whereas, like I said before, Diggs was only able to sneak out the third round because of his urgency. Had it been a little bit more urgent in rounds 1 and 2 and try to get his volume up, he might have been able to steal round 2, but at the end of the day, I had rounds 1 and 2, Weickel, and then Diggs the round 3, and then that's what 2 of the judges saw it. They saw it 2 rounds to 1 Weickel, whereas only 1 saw it Diggs 2-1. But at the end of the day, Daniel Weickel is victorious with the split decision victory over Keoni Diggs. But I would definitely go back and watch it because it was definitely a fun fight in all to watch on here, and to just be amazed at how these guys were pace-wise in this fight. In the next matchup we have on this card, we had a fight where we had a lightweight fight between Sidney Outlaw, who defeated Myles by third round submission. Sidney Outlaw came out from the gate and applied his will on Myles. Myles was known for his striking, and both were known for their grappling. But Sidney Outlaw was able to limit Myles from the get-go with his grappling, taking him down. He tried to get a bunch of submissions on him. He limited to the point where Myles was basically non-existent for the whole fight because Sidney Outlaw was able to apply his will on Jory and do what he wanted to do, which keep the fight in the ground, keep him locked down, keep the pressure on him, and try and go for submissions. As you see here with the fight stats, Myles didn't do anything. He only had 12 total strikes, 10 punches, 0 elbows, 0 kicks, 2 knees, 0 takedowns, and 0 submissions. So he didn't even get any of his wrestling going, and only had 12 total strikes, which is a testament to how well game planned Sidney Outlaw was, who in his mind, he had 40 total strikes, 38 punches, 0 elbows, 2 kicks, 0 knees, 5 takedowns, and 5 submission attempts, in which the last one was the most important because in round 3, he was able to make Myles submit by third round submission with the rear naked choke. He had him dominated. He just kept on doing what he was doing, and before that, even without that, he had won the first 2 rounds, in my opinion, and then he was getting ready to win the third round. So he just finished it off early due to that third round submission, and he improved his record with this dominating grappling win over Myles by third round submission. And just like the last fight, I would go back and watch it just so you can watch how prepared Sidney Outlaw was in this, because he did what he had to do. He dominated, and he had the will to even though both guys were both grappling experts, he was able to get his game going before Myles was, and this was a wrap. So once again, third round submission victory for Sidney Outlaw against Myles. In the co-main event of the evening, which didn't last long in itself, I thought it was going to be a more competitive fight than it was. We had a women's flyweight matchup that pitted Liz Kommucha against Kana Watanabe, in which you thought that the winner might get a future championship fight after this. And boy, did Liz Kommucha not disappoint, as Liz Carmouche defeated Kana Watanabe by first round TKO in the first minute of this fight. She came out guns blazing. I thought Watanabe was going to be able to go right from the get-go and get Liz Kommucha down, but she never got a chance to because Liz Kommucha came out with a great game plan of just pressuring Kana right away. She started wearing punches at Watanabe, who had no answers for him. And before you can even blink twice, this fight was over after the fifth or sixth strike because Watanabe was knocked down and she had no answers, no defense, no nothing. And Liz Kommucha was able to pick up the first round knockout victory over her in impressive fashion. I think maybe if she would have done this over again, Watanabe would have ran in quicker to try and get a takedown, but she looked too relaxed early on and didn't expect the outbreak from Liz Kommucha coming towards her, because in last fight against Porto, Liz Kommucha was hesitant and too passive, but in this one she was very aggressive, came in right away, threw strikes at her, and was able to knock her out. So in this co-main event of the evening, Liz Kommucha defeats Kana Watanabe by first round TKO. Now let's move on to the main event of the evening. The reason we're here, it was the interim heavyweight championship matchup that saw Valentin Moldavsky defeat Timothy Johnson by unanimous decision. These guys were going at it all fight. This is the main event that you want to watch and then you want to be proud of, because even though Valentin controlled 4 of the 5 rounds, in my opinion, over Timothy Johnson, both guys were coming at it. Timothy Johnson never gave up. He kept on fighting after Moldavsky. Even in round 2, stunned Moldavsky for a bit, and he thought that maybe he could have capitalized on it, but he wasn't able to capitalize on it. Moldavsky was able to do what he wanted in this fight, which was out volume Timothy Johnson and then out wrestle him. I thought Timothy Johnson would have used his wrestling more, but he relied mostly on his striking, whereas Moldavsky did a little bit of mixing his volume striking with his wrestling to keep the scorecards on his favor. And that's what did Timothy Johnson in this fight, was just too much. And then in the later rounds, he had to rely on trying to knock out Moldavsky, which was unsuccessful, in which that's why Valentin Moldavsky is your new interim heavyweight champion in Bellator after this championship main event against Timothy Johnson, which puts on a pretty interesting future matchup with Ryan Bader, because if you know, Valentin Moldavsky is teammates with Vadim Nemkov, who is the light heavyweight champion, where he defeated Ryan Bader. Ryan Bader's trying to go for a revenge, so there could be a chance that if Bader and Nemkov both get to the finals of the light heavyweight Grand Prix, you could have a situation where Ryan Bader could fight Nemkov in the finals, get the belt, and then get the Grand Prix belt, and then in his next fight after that would fight his teammate Valentin Moldavsky to unify the interim heavyweight championship and then heavyweight championship, and then go from there. So I'm so interested to see what happens in the future with that. But before we get to that, let's look at the stats from this very awesome main event fight that we were able to watch. You had Valentin Moldavsky, who had 184 total strikes. He had 152 punches, 0 elbows, 4 kicks. He had 28 knees, 6 takedowns, and 0 submissions, whereas Timothy Johnson only had 130 total strikes, 117 punches, 0 elbows, 8 knees, 8 kicks, 5 knees, 0 takedowns, and 0 submissions. So all in all, Moldavsky was able to mix up the punching and the takedowns, whereas Timothy Johnson relied too much on the punching. And Moldavsky was able to just like I said before, I thought Timothy Johnson would have been able to knock out Moldovsky. He had his chance in round 2, but didn't capitalize on it. So Valentin Moldavsky capitalized on the volume and the wrestling to limit just a bit what Timothy Johnson could do. And that's why the unanimous decision victory went to Valentin Moldavsky over Timothy Johnson in this main event. But props to both guys, and I wouldn't mind seeing a rematch in the future, but it won't happen for a while. And all I would have to say is Timothy Johnson needs to mix in his wrestling more, because had he had done that in this matchup, this could have went either way. But the volume was just too much from Moldovsky, and that's why he is your new Bellator interim heavyweight champion after Bellator 261. That'll wrap up this Bellator 261 recap show by yours truly, D-Big. As always, this is Cage My IQ, the best place for MMA content. You can follow us on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, and Twitch at the handles to the left. And don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel. We're growing every day. This week, we got a nice business partnership that we got to announce to you guys. So check that out on Wednesday or Thursday, because there's going to be changes coming to Cage My IQ for the better. I can't wait to announce it, but I want to wait until Wednesday or Thursday to announce it to you guys. But until then, give us your feedbacks, give us your subs, and check out all of our videos. And as always, we got 3 sponsors for you. First is 99 Jersey. Use promo code SportsBoxShow20 at checkout to receive 20% off your next purchase at www.99jersey.com. Then the next sponsor is Oddsjam. Go to our link in the bio, click the link, sign up for Oddsjam, and watch as you never lose a bet again. What happens is when you sign up for Oddsjam, they show you several different odds for every bet. You can choose the best odds around that fits your needs and just watch, because once you do that, you're never going to lose a bet again, because you have so much to choose from, as Oddsjam it helps you out to win every single bet that you can imagine. So just once again, go to the link in our bio, click the link, sign up to Oddsjam, and just watch as you never lose a bet again. And then lastly is High Tide Herbal. Use promo code CageMyIQ10 at checkout to receive 10% off your next purchase. This is a site where the owners are coaches and athletes who specialize in speedy recovery. If you're an athlete that's looking to recover from an injury, go to High Tide Herbal, because all the products are used with CBD, and they pride themselves on helping athletes recover faster. So just go to www.hightideherbal.com and use promo code CageMyIQ10 at checkout to receive 10% off your next purchase. So once again, I'm your host, D-Big. This was your Bellator 261 recap show, and I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day. See you guys later.
Thank you for watching this episode of Cage My IQ on the Sports Box. Please remember to follow us on all of our social media outlets. On Facebook at SportsBox Show, Twitter at SportsBox Show, Instagram at The SportsBox Show. Find us on YouTube and join Outside the Box, our Facebook sports discussion group. The Sports Box is brought to you by our sponsor, Showcase Sports in Hamilton. Showcase Sports for the elite athlete. And also our friends over at CrowdPlay. Download the free CrowdPlay app today and use promo code THEBOX at sign up for 10 free points. Thank you for joining us.